Hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on our purple sun of Shyish, and I love this model. It's a big skull purple blowfish. It's awesome. I've got the base all kind of done up in the grassland bases. We got all kinds of cool like ethereal effects going on in the base, and it's a big spiky sun of doom from the Death Realm. I mean, it doesn't get any more awesomely cheesy than that. So let's get started on them right away. Now, let me be clear. The irony of taking a purple model and then priming it white and then painting it purple is awesome. But we are off to the races. So I'm going to prime this guy up in Corax white, and we'll be right back. All right, so we can see now that our purple sun is now the white sun of Shyish, which is kind of cool. But we'll repurplize it, purplerate it, purplify it pretty quickly here. You can see also that it really brings out all the different kind of nooks and crannies. Now, I was debating filling them in, but it actually looks it'll be fine because we're going with quite a dark color. So I'm sure that it'll be just fine anyways. So we got it all purplized up here, which is great. Got the base all primed up as well. And we're going to start off with Naggaroth Knight. And that's just going to be the foundation of our purple in general. So I've got a old school wash brush here, but if you can find them, there's much larger brushes kind of kicking around. But I just want to make sure that I get into all the nooks and crannies and all of that of this guy. All right, so I'm just going to start off, and we're just going to do like a base coat. Now you're going to see that this color has a little bit of color variation to it, and you can see that the white kind of creeps through. So you might want to do two thinner coats, but we're also going to be washing this fairly quickly. So maybe you want a little bit of that extra kind of dynamic lighting in there, which is fine. But I'm going to probably go with two just kind of thinner coats as we go around. So I'm just going to cover everything, including down here, these kind of like, you know, spectral forces type things. Of doom stuff things. All right, so I've got two coats of Naggaroth Knight all over the model here, and I've seen a lot of people kind of dry brush the suns because obviously there's loads of detail in there, and I'm not a fan of dry brushing in a lot of ways because it tends to be pretty rough. I think I like a little bit more of an organic look and feel to it. However, if we wash it after the fact, it kind of tamps down that kind of rough edge kind of look to it. So I am going to dry brush it with Xerius Purple, and it's essentially just going to be before the wash, so then we can get a lot of that detail back, which is fine. So you take your biggest, grossest brush that you have, kind of give it a little wipe on some tissue there, and what I'm going to do is just go over and dry brush just very carefully and very lightly over top of the surface of this, and you'll see that it starts to bring out that little bit of detail in there. All right, so what I'll do is I'll work my way around the model, and when it comes to the face, I'm just going to do that kind of, 2/3 of the depth of the face, and on the quills, the spikes, I'm just going to work my way 2/3 of the way down. All right, so I've got the purples all kind of set up for the wash now. I also went ahead and did the base, just because I like to wash the base at the same time. But am I the only one who gets like a Sinistar vibe out of this thing? And anyway, so what I'm going to do now is use a wash. Now, this wash is a custom wash, and it is 25% Nuln Oil, 25% Agrax Earthshade, and 50% regular, everyday floor wax, floor polish. So I'm just going to go through and wash this guy and make sure I don't get a lot of extra pooling in there. So I'm going to take my time, go around all these guys here, give it a good... nice wash, get into all the cracks. If you want to make sure you're applying it correctly, you just apply it in like a circular motion, and that should get you into all of the nooks and crannies as you go. So make sure you don't get any extra pooling like in the eyes. I think it'd be very easy for it to pool. So if you get that pooling, just use your brush as a bit of a wick, and you can pull out any extra wash that's in there. So I will work my way around this beautiful model, and we shall return to get the highlight colors on. Okay, so we can see now that the wash has added all kinds of depth and kind of visual interest into our model here, kind of making those paint schemes go down a bit. You can see the Xerius Purple and the Nagaroth Night giving it a little bit of extra texture and shade and all of that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start working on some of the basic highlights, and it's actually pretty easy to do with this model. I'm going to start with my Xerius Purple again. And I'm going to go after some of the raised detail elements. So when you look at the model here, you'll see that there's kind of three layers of depth in here. You've got kind of the surface area, this bumpy surface area on its own. And of course we could go through and painstakingly highlight or dry brush, but I actually kind of like the fact that it's darker, and the wash has really kind of brought out that level of depth. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take our Xerius Purple, and we're going to apply just a couple different levels of highlight here. So first off, let's talk about the spines themselves. I'm going to go back in now, and 2/3 of the way in on those spines, I'm going to reapply that Xerius Purple. So I'll go around and I'll work around on all those spines. If you look, you can see that there's these kind of veiny lines of power. So you've got the main surface down there, but you got these kind of veiny lines of power. I'm just going to go through and get the majority. So you'll see that I'm kind of reaching over the edge a little bit there, but get the majority of those veins kind of highlighted in that Xerius Purple. Okay, leaving a little bit of depth down there for sure. So this might take a little bit of time, but it's going to go pretty quickly, I think. Now, applying that same kind of train of thought, we'll do the same with these kind of lines of power down here as well. So I'll do the edging, and if there's, kind of any additional kind of lines of power or anything like that in there, then what I will do is I'll just do that top kind of 2/3. And I can striate this a bit or follow the lines, but it's nice because the colors are going to blend so well, which would be great. And then finally, to get the detail out of the face kind of portion, I'm going to do essentially an edge highlight all the way around kind of the skeletal structure here on these bigger, flatter parts. Okay, and then whenever I get any kind of lines like this, I'm just going to go through and just striate or do these kind of parallel lines here all the way around on the inside and on the outside of these edges here. I just don't want it to be like just a solid edge. So I want to do this striation all the way through. And you can see right away that it starts to pop that upper level of the skeleton, or the skull, I guess, the face. Okay, so I'm going to work my way around. I'll do that with the teeth part here as well. I'll do it with the spines. I'll do it with the lines of force down under here. And I'll just work my way around the model, applying that Xerius Purple highlight. Okay, so I went through and highlighted all these little kind of veiny bits of power there, and I went back and on each of the spikes coming out, also gave them a highlight of the Xerius Purple. Now we're going to work on the last purple, which is going to be our Gene Sealer Purple, and yeah, it's coming together kind of nicely. It's a very simple paint scheme. Very easy to do, but there's lots of kind of visual interest in the model, which is kind of cool. You're not seeing the cracks as much because of the kind of the low lights from the wash and all that. So with the Gene Sealer Purple, again, going to go back to where we were before. So just doing a very light edge highlight. So wherever we did 2/3 before, this time we're going to do kind of the 1/3. So wherever there's a hard edge, and there's not that many here, but wherever there's a hard edge, I'm going to go around and do the Gene Sealer Purple. And then I'm going to, so in the example here, I'll do that Gene Sealer Purple there, and then I'll striate the lines. So just going in these, just kind of, parallel kind of lines, just like this. Okay, and you can really see, get it out of the light there, you can really see what it looks like from that perspective. So it blends those edges together, but still gives us visually a hard edge. But you can see that the striations occur just like that. Now when it comes to the lines of power here, I'm just going to do the just outside edge, and you can do it just like that. If you're feeling really ambitious, you could go in and striate all these lines a little bit, just to kind of feather that edge a little bit there, and give you that more kind of pronounced kind of lines of power. It almost looks like, you know, like a plasma kind of reaction, which is pretty neat looking. Down below, again, wherever we did the 2/3, I'm going to do just kind of 1/3. So I'll do the outside edge, just like this. Okay, and then I'll striate that line in there like that. So it'll bring in just kind of that nice bright edge, and really give you that sense of having, really give you that sense of power there. And then finally on each of the spikes, where I did 2/3 of that spike in the Xeris purple, what I'm going to do is I'll do it a little thicker down here, just to kind of get that edging in, and then I'll striate, just feather in that final piece, just like that. Just so it's a little random and it's not like a thick line. And it'll just fade those colors together. See the darker, the Xeris purple, and then the Gene Stealer purple. You'll just feather those colors together, and you'll get that sense of the power getting lighter as you go out towards the end. Okay, our purple sun is now all done. Like 3 colors, very easy color combinations there. I'm really liking the fact that we get, those kind of like pulsating energies kind of flowing off. We've got the 2 different levels, and I'm actually really liking the gloss that's left behind by the floor wax and wash combination that's in the on the main surface of the sun here. So no, I think it's a cool little treat. It was fun to put together. It was super easy to paint. It is after all just a template, but obviously we can have a little bit of fun with it anyway. Kind of cool grimacing skull is pretty sweet. Really liking just kind of the spikes and the layers of color that come off the spikes. Even the radiant energies that are coming off at the bottom here are pretty solid. So nice, quick, simple, easy, and effective. And I really like the end result, actually. Looking forward to having it on the table. So that's it for this one. It's a super easy one this time around. If you like the video, obviously hit the like button that is there. If you want more videos just like this, like painting, and we're going to be doing some streaming and gaming and just kind of opinion and stuff, feel free to jab that subscribe button. And there's a little notification bell right beside it. You get notifications of all of our future videos on all of your devices. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.